Yeah, getting comfortable losing is one of those things that just take more from you and give you a lot more. Um, it's all about like how do you lose and just keep going like it's nothing and you remain. And at first, it hurts, it discourages you, it throws you off. The more you experience it, the more it kind of doesn't seem to phase you anymore. Teaches you, teaches you to toughen up and like not be all emotional when things don't always go your way. Mainly, I feel like when I put out music at first and get like super low numbers on views, whatever. Like maybe I might spend like 16 hours working on a song, maybe right, yeah, 16 full hours like working on not consecutive, but just like on patch, like working on a song and then put it out and then like get the workest, get to zero, get like zero response from people, like no response, like maybe only a couple homies see it and like you put in so much effort and like it doesn't go anywhere. You feel like okay, it hurts at first, it like discourages you, it like pushes you off, but and then you later on realize like okay, it's part of growth. I mean, the more you fail, the more you learn from it, and the less the failure feels like a stab. It just feels like you now begin to better understand. And like I feel like a lot of creators are just too emotional with their, okay, it's good to be emotional about your craft, but like you need to learn not to really give too much of a fuck about like how people react to your craft. The success of a song, mostly because how we consider success, the success of a song, we should think of it more as, did you get the message across? Did you like the completion of a song is the success of a song, and the response of the people is just another attribute to it. Like, okay, yeah, cool, how they react to it. But like, did you get the message across? Did you manage to convey what you wanted to convey? Did you do the best you can at that moment, and like put it out there? Then put yourself out there. Yeah. So being comfortable failing is one of those things that will actually keep you in the game for the longest amount of time. I feel like success is, we look at success and everyone just looks at success like, okay, yeah, someone has made it, but nobody ever looks at the failures. Like, I mean, the temptation is like quitting is the first option that comes to your mind, like, okay, maybe this might not be worth it, maybe I'm not good enough or whatever. But the moment you begin to think in that way is like, that's when you begin to lose the game. Because the thing about failure, when you keep losing and losing and losing and losing, failure is what defines winners and champions. I mean, tribulations are what define winners champions. Yeah, because tribulations are faced by everyone, both everyone equally, or they might seem equally, but like everyone faces tribulations in a way, one way or another. And those tribulations are like how you face them is what determines your end result. You either confront them, win, or you confront them and lose. But what you do after you lose, that's the game. That's like, okay, if you lose, you quit, you stop. Because like failure's got a way of like discouraging you and making taking a hit on your confidence, on like you giving yourself doubt, making you question yourself. Like, not, you start to question yourself, and the moment you let that self doubt start to like creep in you, like that's when like things actually go like really bad. So the moment you begin to sense the feeling of like self doubt and whatever, try to be less emotional with how you, maybe for the creative process emotions are super important, but for as far as the interaction of like you and your failures, try to be a bit more logical with how you approach things, be able to step back and like look at it from an analytical point of view, whereby like, okay, here is what's up, here is why I failed, and like, okay, so is it possible for me to get any better than where I am right now? And you figure out mostly the answer is yes. Is there a way for me to develop in whatever way that I want to develop? And the answer will mostly be yeah, it's very much possible for you to develop and for you to get better. And another thing that helps you become better with dealing with failure is like having a big why. And I think of it like the goal is the most important thing, and the plan will fail. Many plans have failed along the way. Like every champ you see, like whatever in whatever field they are in, they've probably dedicated their life to it and have practiced behind the scenes more than you can count. And like they have failed so many times. But don't think of them as failures, because think of them as just a process. Like a bulb at 1,000 steps to create. It wasn't 1,000 failures. You know what I mean? So think of it like steps to create the masterpiece, or to create the art you wanna create. Your relationship with failure will be the most defining factor. Like for instance, you create a piece, and that's true to you, true to how you speak. And because it's not received well, you might be forced to say, oh no, I should totally give up on this idea. But no, have some confidence, have some faith in yourself, like believe in the stuff that you're putting out. Like, okay, yeah, you believe this to be true, and surely, like, yeah, like it might feel like, okay, because it's not that, like, it's not maybe, I feel like maybe what people create is differently. Maybe if you're doing stuff, maybe if you're hired for commercial stuff, maybe you might really want to do what the client wants. But as far as for creative work, as in your own artist and your creative endeavors, understanding the message you wanna like portray in the art is more important, and making sure you uh, put out the best that you can. And other things, like maybe like keeping the listeners attention, that's or making something more captivating, or more easy to digest by people, that might be something you might do. But as far as the message and like the overall goal or the idea, I feel like it's okay to be original, to think outside of the box, to try something. And like understanding losing is just part of the process. It's just another part of like everyday whatever, everyday drama. Think of it like just like the icing on the cake or whatever. Like it comes with it. Like doubt, whatever, failures will always be a part of it. Yeah. But it's about, I'm more interested in how you handle those. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people have been forced to conform, like, to what works with, or to what other people want, or what isn't even their true expression, because of fear of the same failure. Other people have been frozen, like, out of like mental paralysis, to whereby like they don't even want to actually work. They don't want to move on, because they don't even want to start whatever they want to endeavor in, because they're so afraid of failing. But understand this: you can do nothing and be in the same position, or do something. Maybe there is hope for you to be in a better position than where you actually are. Your relationship with failure is something that should actually, I feel like failure should just be like one of those everyday things that you just like, oh yeah, this is a normal things. But I feel like with the school system, it's shunned upon, it's looked upon as you should not fail. You're expected to pass at all times. And creativity is almost like, I don't know, spoken bad about, like in a way whereby, like, yeah, I feel like the school system creates is like this mindset of thinking of where, like, okay, uh you think in this way, anything outside of this isn't acceptable. Like creative thinking, like I remember like doing math, and like just be like, oh yeah, you got the answer right, wrong process, okay, cool. And then the X, like you get an X for the process, you get a mark for the answer. But it's like, what? But in reality, it's a different world altogether, because mostly when we do this stuff, we nobody gives, only us creators who give two shits about the process. But like the process is always diverse, and we're always keep figuring out better ways, and being more creative in ways of how you convey your message, and how you tell your stories, or what type of ways you whatever type of instruments you use, whatever you want to use, or whatever you want to program, play instruments, whatever. Keep creative. That isn't fixed to anything, but the end goal is, in a way, like it's like do whatever you can to get to whatever end goal you want. So like, don't conform to whatever you think how things should be. But like the moment you start thinking in ways of, okay, I think this should be like this, you kind of in a way box yourself in. Just approach your works with an open mind. And when you're creating, I feel like the failure shouldn't be among the things that you should put in your mind first, because the moment you start creating with fear in your mind, you're constantly walking on eggshells. Like like your a fear for creation made in absolute fear will never actually speak like in an actual true way, because you'll never be able to say what you want to say. You always be biting your tongue in more than one way, and like, let's just leave. Okay, what's the worst that can happen? Like, you put out something and people don't like it, you fail, cool. If people, I don't know, no one really gives two shits about it. So like, it's all in your head. It's all in your head. I feel like a lot of people are suffering from like things that haven't yet happened, the future, like things that might happen, like cool, like you're suffering in the future that is uncertain, because you're like, okay, things might go bad. Yeah, things will go bad either way. Like, and or suffering like, okay, I don't know, stressing you, but you're worried about something that hasn't even happened yet. And like, yeah, it's human, but like, try to be more active in the present and just be happy, be grateful, and just do your very best, and just like, yeah, be the best that you can. Thank you guys. Yeah.